This presentation is about wearables in sociodrama, an embodied mixed methods study of expressiveness in social interactions. The study is implemented by a diverse consortium that consists of the Laboratory of Qualitative Research in Psychology and Psychosocial Well-being of University of Athens, the Athena Research Center, and the cultural production and management company Mentor. Wearable technologies are transforming the way we conduct social science research, in particular multimodal and multisensory research. Here we describe an innovative methodology that attempts to analyze the embodied impact of social dynamics. It is part of the ongoing project Transition to 8 that studies the multisensorial and experiential impact of social local issues on citizens and bridges them with the technology and contemporary art. More specifically, through the project, an online platform will be developed to enable the creation of artistic projects based on biometric and other data derived from wearables used to record the reactions of the human body in the framework of sociodrama sessions, during which participants express themselves and deliberate on important collective social issues. We achieve this through a mixed methods study that incorporates wearables with other methods of ethnography studies. In recent years, there has been an increasing interest in using methodologies that go beyond verbal descriptions, leading the so-called embodied turn in human sciences. There is evidence to suggest that most of the communication between people take place non-verbally. Indeed, our experience is always embodied, and meaning is continuously generated both through the body and language. Qualitative researchers have used many methods for collecting and analyzing nonverbal and embodied components of human interactions, such as prosody-pitch, voice rhythm and timbre, body posture, gesture, and facial expression. Data can be collected through audio and video recordings, photographs, checklists, matrices, and diagrams. More recently, biometric devices and wearables are increasingly used. A sociodrama is a dramatic play in which a group of individuals act out assigned roles for the purpose of studying and remedying problems in group of collective relationships. It was funded by Jacob Moreno in an effort to explore his sociological interests while using psychodrama techniques. It is an experiential group as a whole procedure that can be used to explore social issues, social justice concerns, collective trauma, stigma, interpersonal tension, intergroup conflict, healing, and other social factors operating in complex human settings. Ellipsis was selected as a place to study its variant social and cultural mosaic. Ellipsis is an ancient and nowadays industrial city in Greece. During ancient years, it was the site of Seleucidian mysteries and the birthplace of Aeschylus. Today, Ellipsis is a major industrial center with the largest oil refinery in Greece, as well as the home of Aeschylia Festival, the longest-lived art event in Attica region. Analysis of the Ellipsis social climate show that the three most pressing social phenomena of the city are environment, employment, and immigration. Those social issues formed the three core axes of the project. As such, the sociodramas will cover these three thematics. Each thematic will be discussed in 2 sociodrama sessions, leading to 6 sessions in total that will take place in Ellipsis for ecological validity. Also, the participants would be any adult resident of Ellipsis who speaks and understands Greek. However, in this presentation, we discussed the results of the pilot study where participants were 9 people coming from the 3 research groups and will present improvements that will be applied on the final sessions. To record human activity during the pilot sociodrama session, 3 different types of equipment were used: cameras, microphones, and wearables to record heart activity. For wide-angle lens, GoPro cameras were placed around the room to record the activity of the crowd from panoramic point of view. 2 regular angle lens cameras were placed in locations that allow the recording of facial expressions. The sound was recorded by all cameras. However, to achieve a better quality, we employed 3 zoom microphones. The wearable equipment was two heart-rate sensors from Proto-Central, which record electrocardiogram signal wirelessly, ECG. To achieve this, we placed the sensor on the left side of the chest of randomly selected participants. The pilot sociodrama was divided into three main sections: introduction, sociodrama, and conclusion. Each section contains several tasks. In introduction, the tasks were ice-breaking. For example, participants had to respond how many members there were participating from the research team, how many were missing, which was the person who connected them with the project, and how well they know ellipses. In main sociodrama section, participants had to play three roles: the European Commission, which decides that ellipsis is the European capital of culture for 2023, the Eleusinians, and the rest of the Greeks who learn and respond to the news. In conclusion, the tasks were aiming to debriefing. Synchronizing the data recorded from the various devices was a challenge in our setup. To do this, first we timestamped all the data collected from the Artifacts devices through our Python script that was handling the data streaming. To synchronize the audio and video data with the biosignal recordings, one of the GoPro cameras named as main was initiated through a Python script, which was also saving the recording start time. Once we know the time that the main camera started and the time that the signal frames were collected, we were able to sync the rest of the video and audio data with the main camera by listening and watching the material. For this step, we employed ELAN. ELAN is a video and audio annotation tool. In this work, it was used to synchronize the video and audio data. We annotated the beginning and ending of all tasks performed during the session. The timestamps of the annotated tasks were then extracted and transferred in MATLAB, where the biosignal processing and analysis took place. After having specified the times and duration of each section, it is possible to parameterize the biosignals based on the sections they belong to. The ECG data of participant 1 wearing sensor 1 is displayed in the upper plot of the presented figure. The data correspond to the introduction section and its tasks, walk-in questions, maps, project connections, and how much do you know ellipses. The data are color mapped based on the task they belong to. Having transferred this information to the biosignal, we are now able to further process and analyze it, employ metrics such as heart rate, and estimate the maximum and minimum values of it in order to detect noteworthy moments of change that we here name episodes, and elaborately investigate the conditions under which they occurred. Therefore, we start by localizing heart activity episodes. The heart rate, which is presented in the lower plot, is estimated by extracting the peaks of the ECG signal and by counting the beats that happen within the past 1 minute. Observing the heart rate fluctuations, it is easy to notice that there are specific time zones during which high heart rate values appear. For example, during the task "How much do you know ellipses?", we can see the repetitive presence of high heart rate values within the task. As such, the maximum heart rate values and its corresponding first and last time of appearance were detected and extracted. The times of these episodes were then transferred to ELAN in order to annotate the video data and observe the physical activity before, after, and during the incident. Having the time of the heart extracted episodes, we move back to ELAN to observe what is happening during, before, and or after two example cases. The first one is from the task Walk and Questions. Before reaching max heart rate, the sociodramatist, who is marked with a green dot, asked yellow participants 1 research team how many members were in their team and how members were missing. During max heart rate, the team started talking about the members and their participation. The second episode is from task Project Connection. Before episode, participant 1 is with a research team and touching her advisor, as all participants were directed to touch the person who connected them with the project. sociodramatist asked participant 1 and 2, who is marked with orange, about their connection to the project. They both confirmed it was their common advisor. Would you like to say something to your advisor? The sociodramatist asks. Participant 1 and 2 paused for a few seconds, then they both agreed that they want to say thank you. Would you like to respond to them? The sociodramatist asked the advisor. I want to say thank you as well, she said, and they all burst out laughing together. After the episode, another research team talks about how they joined the project. Then we examined what is happening on the third type of data, the audio data, during the specific two segments. Our analysis here is not related to what it is said, but it investigates the loudness and pitch of the signal. Hence, in this figure, we see the spectrogram of the walking questions before episode segment, which is a continuous conversation without any interruptions. And here, we see the spectrogram of the project connection before episode segment. In this conversation, there is more variability. In particular, in the period 10 to 14 seconds, we observe the pause of participant 1 and 2 before agreeing that they want to say thank you to their advisor. Also, at second 23, we observe a significant decrease in loudness and pitch that corresponds to a collective burst out of laughter that is visualized by the density of different colors. We also investigated the episode localization through audio data, in which case we studied the audio data as another form of biosignals. It is important to know that the audio data comes from the whole group in contrast to the hard data that corresponds to participant 1. So in this investigation, the episodes are extracted not from a personalized but from a global measurement. The bottom part of the figure demonstrates the audio data, and the top part the estimated root mean square value of the audio volume of each subsection. The y value corresponds to the root mean square estimation, whereas the x value corresponds to the time that the task begins. It is noticeable that the loudest task is the third round of the role-playing, and the task with the minimum root mean square values is the how much do you know ellipsis. After extracting the audio-based episodes, we move back to Iglana again to observe what is happening during its case of minimum and maximum root mean square. Figure A demonstrates moments from the third round of role-playing, where the group playing the European Commission holds an internal meeting to decide about the European Capital of Culture. They decide for ellipsis, then participant 1 announces the news to Elefsinians. The latter make a lot of noise and applaud to celebrate the event. One of the members enthusiastically announces the news to the rest of the Greeks, but they do not respond as expected. Some members feel that their cities are degraded, some others cannot accept it. The European Commission is surprised. Why are these people complaining? Disagreements expand among participants and between teams. Figure B demonstrates moments from the task how much do you know about ellipsis. Here the participants are directed to move to a distance from ellipsis, which is represented by a book placed in the center of the room. The more they know the city, the closer they can move. Then the sociodramatist asks his participants to express briefly what they would like to know about ellipsis. One after the other, participants respond. Some participants become very emotional. For some of them, ellipsis was their birthplace, for others, the city of residence. Overall, we achieved the incorporation of wearables in sociodrama by synchronizing different equipment pieces and their data. Therefore, we enabled the transition of information extracted from quantitative analysis on the biosignals to qualitative data and vice versa. We also unfolded storylines by observing one data type after the other and discovered moments of social discomfort and emotional excitement. Having accomplished these steps, we aim on expanding the types of bodily data that we record and specifically employ sensors that record movement, galvanic skin response, skin temperature, and heart rate simultaneously so that we expand our storylines. We also aim to employ more sensors and record more people in parallel in order to study their interactions, and finally incorporate methods of qualitative analysis in our study. Our next steps would be to understand the inspirational and data needs of the artists and create an online platform that will provide all this information meaningfully to the international artistic community.